going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. Tonight in movie reviews, we will focus on another group of people brought together by unmistakable tragedy who, again, have to find ways to escape death and its crazy designs for all of them and their lives. Tonight, folks, we are talking Final Destination Bloodlines. But let's not waste any time. Let's jump right on into things. If you haven't seen the trailer for this one yet, this tells the story of a young woman who has been having a reoccurring vision of her grandmother's death and reconnects with her family looking for answers, only to ignite the fuse of an entirely brand new design set to send her and her family to their final destination. And there it is, folks. That is Final Destination Bloodlines. Now, we are familiar with the way that these films have worked over the past 25 years. A young hero gets a vision of their impending death, along with a number of people around them, consisting of family, friends, and sometimes just complete strangers. And over the course of the next 90 minutes, that hero will spend that time learning the order that everybody was killed in and trying to find ways to prevent everybody's death. Now, it's a formula that has worked 5 times prior, for better or worse, depending on your opinions of this franchise. But Bloodlines, after a 14-year absence, looks to bring us a little bit of the same while also trying to charter some new ground out. Like I said here, our lead character, Stephanie, played by Caitlin Santawana, does not actually have a vision of herself or her friends, family, anybody around her. Instead, she's been having her grandmother Iris's vision of the Skyview Hotel, a hotel that Iris got a chance to go and do a opening night preview with her fiance so many years ago. But as Iris saw in her vision, the hotel was doomed for tragedy. Numerous people were killed in gruesome ways. Some were burnt to death. Some fell to their deaths. Some were crushed and impaled by implements around this hotel. Some were hit by pennies. There were all these insane ways that folks were dying. What set this premonition apart from a lot of the other ones we had seen was just the amount of detail that truly went into it. You can really see an evolution of the premonition death scenes over the years, because if we go back and look at the original Final Destination, which is a great film, that premonition really doesn't actually give us all too much. Like, yeah, we see the horrible plane crash occurring, but really all we're experiencing are things from Alex Browning's point of view. And as we start to get like the rest of the premonitions throughout the franchise, it starts showing us all the featured characters who are going to be in that particular film. Now, with Bloodlines, we know that the characters that are in Iris's premonition are likely not going to play a big role in the film itself. And not only that, it kind of means that there's not any kind of impetus on Stephanie to get this done like really quickly. And that brings about the crux of the story itself here. It's about the fact that from Iris saving all these people in the Skyview Hotel, it created all these different branches of peoples and families that were not supposed to be here. And there's very much the implication that all these groups that we've been watching across the various Final Destination films have all come out of descendants of the Skyview Hotel. Now, we don't get any of those direct connections there outside of firm confirmation that Kimberly from Final Destination 2 is our sole survivor thus far. We've talked about that a little bit, that in the prior Final Destination films, our protagonists are always getting killed off no matter what they do. There's been other ways that have been introduced as a way to get around death's design and keep yourself alive, but Kimberly, played by AJ Cook in Final Destination 2, was shown as our only survivor. Now, we know that can't be true because Officer Burke, played by Michael Landis, that's my Jimmy Olsen right there, had to survive with her. So there has to be 2 confirmed survivors from Final Destination. But again, the idea that all these groups that we've been watching over the years are likely coming from people who survived that hotel, like that hotel disaster, that's a pretty cool way to keep everybody kind of locked in. With all of that, it is interesting new ground for the franchise to go into, because we then have to look at it and not really have any idea of the way the design's going to work. You know, Stephanie does come up with what she thinks is the way the order is by everybody's birth, by when they were by how old they are, that will determine who death is going after. And it makes for a solid bit of advice, but as we see, Stephanie's plans are not foolproof, and that worked a bit better here, to where she's pulling at all these strings trying to find something that works, and so far she's struggling with all of this. We've seen this across a number of the franchise entries. Now for our cast, Caitlin Santawana, who plays Stephanie, great protagonist. I think that the protagonists of the franchise, they're a bit of a mixed bag. I think Alex is the one that a lot of people go back to just because we all love Devon Sawa, and the tone of that film is very, very different compared to the rest of the films. It's taken a lot more seriously. And like I said in my review, that movie plays out a lot like an X-Files episode. Makes sense given our writers and director attached to it. But that episode works so differently thematically compared to all the rest of the films. But realistically, I do feel that these other protagonists have been really, really forgettable. And Stephanie does endear herself to us more by there being personal conflict. Here with Final Destination Bloodlines, we work in the fact that Stephanie's family are all very much fractured. Her mom comes back into the picture right when things are going wrong, and we find out that her mom leaving caused a lot of issues for everybody in the family. And something even that simple just adds a little bit more drama here to this story about people being killed again in a human game of mousetrap. We need those little touches. It makes us enjoy the characters a bit more, and I think that works splendidly here. Stephanie's a really good protagonist who very much admits the fact that she doesn't know half of what she's talking about, but she's still going to do whatever she can to try to save people. And I love that, because in this franchise, it's definitely gone back and forth between the hero giving all the other characters all the information they have up front and it not being worth a damn, or like Alex in the original film, not really telling them anything. And I think you got to find that fine line with your protagonist to make them likable to the rest of us, or else you fall into the hole that we did with the Final Destination, to where you're like Nick, and there's just no saving. There's no saving that at all. And that does end up leading to my biggest issue here with the film, and that is the character of Eric, played by Richard Harmon. He's very much there to be the levity, to be the comedic relief that we need sometimes in these films. Folks are getting killed off in outlandish, insane ways. It's gory, it's brutal, it's bloody. We need a bit of laughter to alleviate some of that tension coming from all of that. And Harmon definitely brings that as Eric. But the problem is that his character ends up proving the fundamental issue that the Final Destination films have really had over these last couple of decades. It's the fact that they can't keep a tone from the serious nature of the original film and the slapstick nature of all the rest of them there. There's got to be a way to find that middle ground there and not go too far left or too far right. Because I think in 2025, we are probably not aching for a film that is 100% in tone like the original Final Destination, but we also can't keep having the same stuff that's come out since then in this franchise. I think Eric's character, unfortunately, doesn't allow it to find that balance. His character, by the way, unfortunately to me, stands out the same way that Justina Mikado's character in Final Destination 2 did. You remember the pregnant lady who was all about, like, if you birth new life, we all survive? How did that end up working out there for them, right? She didn't end up serving any actual importance to the plot. We spend so much time with them, which makes sense because we're following this family unit, but I couldn't stop to think that it would have been better served with us getting to learn more about Stephanie's mom, or even perhaps Eric's sister in the film. Like, these characters who are directly involved in everything that's happening, I think would have helped a little bit more here with that balance that I felt the film just wasn't doing a good job on. And of course, that takes us to Tony Todd, the man, the myth, the legend. We lost Tony Todd less than a year ago at this point, and he's been one of the only consistents about the Final Destination franchise since it launched 25 years ago. We found out in the last couple of days that the last lines that he got to say were really a riff that the directors allowed him to just kind of speak for himself to all of us as a bit of a thank you. And it's hard not to see and feel that, him putting that out there on screen. This is a guy that, to me, caught me off in Night of the Living Dead back in like the late 90s and just freaking the hell out of me, and then being so used to just see him pop up in everything for the years and years to come. And it's a very weird and disheartening feeling knowing that that's not going to be a thing that's going to be happening in a lot of new projects as I continue to get older. It's very surreal to see that. But I'm so grateful that we got to spend so much time with this legend like we did, and he gets a really, really proper send off here. And not only that, but the fact that it reshapes everything about Bloodworth's appearances in these films at this point here. You know, he's always been there, at least in all but one. He's been there to offer advice to the characters and try to help them find ways of avoiding everything without being too direct. And now we find out exactly why it is that he doesn't have all that information, and actually showed that, yeah, he was trying to make a difference and trying to help people out here over the years, for better or for worse, but there's only so much that he can do. But of course, the deaths are the reason why most of you are watching the Final Destination films, and y'all, they got some great ones featured in this film. Outside of that opening premonition, which is truly excellent, we get some absolute crazy ones, as you can come to expect here in this franchise. There's some repeat performances in here of folks getting slammed down by things, for sure. But if you are looking for the blood and the gore, you are absolutely going to get that here. A lot of times I really do wonder if they do shoot multiple death scenes for these characters and then just decide which one plays better narratively. Only because if you go back and watch the trailer for Bloodlines, you are going to notice there is one that's going to stick out like a sore thumb. We also get some information on why in previous installments, when our characters have managed to skip their turn, or they've managed to cheat death, or at least what they thought was cheating death, until it catches up to them at the end, and then their deaths are worse, we kind of find out why that is, as Tony Todd basically makes it clear here that death doesn't like to be fucked around with, and if you do, there are going to be repercussions. So I just love the way it reshapes a lot of what we've seen here. Some last minute tidbits that I picked up from this one as well too, and y'all let me know in the comment section if you picked anything up there. How about the Clear Rivers name drop? When they were trying to think of a hospital that Bloodworth worked at, they name dropped Clear Rivers as a hospital. Of course, Clear Rivers is Ali Larter's character from the first two films. The Friendo peanut butter cups, when they're in the hospital and trying to find a way to skip it and end all this stuff, they grab a pack of peanut butter cups that are Friendo brand, which I have to feel is pretty deliberate, with clown in a cornfield. That could just be me. I might just be wrong. The Sky Hops, or the Bellhops, at the Skyview Hotel, dressed up like they are at the Hollywood Tower of Terror, one of the best rides at the Disney parks. It now only resides in Florida at the Hollywood Studios amusement park there, but the resemblance is uncanny. I enjoyed Bloodlines. I thought it was a lot of fun. I think it's exactly what this franchise needed in order to get back on the right track. But the flip of that, though, is that it still doesn't find that right balance. We are going to get another one, folks. This movie did killer numbers opening weekend. Y'all let me know in the comment section, though, what you ultimately thought of Final Destination Bloodlines. This is sticking at a 3.5 out of 5 for me. I want to hear from all of you. But folks, make sure to get subscribed to my channel, because we got so much good stuff coming up. We're going to be talking the series premiere of Better Luck Than Chuck, the first horror trivia game show out there. We are going to get to the end of season 2 of The Last of Us. We got 3 episodes left to go through. We got more of The Bondsman of Black Mirror. We have Dangerous Animals coming up, The Ritual, so much good stuff I don't want y'all to miss. The best way to stay on top of everything is to get subscribed to my link tree. You can do that at linktr.ee/T-Scary-Movie. If you get subscribed, that's going to be access to the YouTube page, the video versions of the show, your favorite podcasting platforms, the audio-only versions of the show, my Letterboxd page for written reviews and movie rankings through the year, my TikTok page for movie reviews, movie premieres, and movie news, my Twitch page for all of my horror gaming, and my Fangoria shop page where you can enjoy a 20% discount off anything in the Fangoria shop. Take advantage of that, y'all. Hit that subscribe button. Again, I got so much great stuff coming out here for you. Don't want y'all to miss out on any of that. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm going to catch y'all soon. My name is T. We've been talking scary movies. Stay scared.